Nanu Nanu, welcome to Nobly Don's History. Today's moment in history is Tina Turner, whose birthday it happens to be today. Happy birthday, Miss Tina Turner, who turns a whopping 83 years young. Happy birthday! Manja manja. You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Welcome back. The reason I chose Miss Turner today is this happens to be my mom's favorite singer. I remember back in the day when she would be cleaning house dancing to Miss Turner. Especially that song, What's Love Got to Do with It? I just have fond memories of that song and my mom. Anna Mae Bullock, born November 26, 1939. Place of birth, Nutbush, Tennessee. Miss Turner is considered the queen of rock and roll. She released her first hit single, Proud Mary, back in 1971. Over her long career, she won 12 Grammy Awards. Miss Bullock, as a young girl, sung in the choir at Nutbush Spring Hill Baptist Church. Anna graduated from Sumner High School in St. Louis, year 1958. Year my mom was born. After graduation, she started working as a nurse's aide at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Now here's Spoonie on Miss Turner's early life.
Happy birthday to Tina Turner, the youngest daughter of Zelma Priscilla, née Curry, and Floyd Richard Bullock. The family lived in the nearby rural unincorporated community of Nutbush, Tennessee, where her father worked as an overseer of the sharecroppers at Poindexter Farm on Highway 180. She later recalled picking cotton with her family at an early age. When she participated in the PBS series African American Lives 2 with Drive Henry Louis Gates, he shared her genealogical DNA test estimates, which were predominantly African, approximately 33% European, and only 1% Native American. Previously, she believed she had a significant amount of Native American ancestry. Bullock had two older sisters, Evelyn Juanita Curry and Ruby Aline Bullock, a songwriter. She is also the first cousin once removed of bluesman Eugene Bridges. As young children, the three sisters were separated when their parents relocated to Knoxville, Tennessee, to work at a defense facility during World War II. Bullock went to stay with her strict, religious paternal grandparents, Alex and Roxana Bullock, who were deacon and deaconess at the Woodlawn Missionary Baptist Church. After the war, the sisters reunited with their parents and moved with them to Knoxville. 2 years later, the family returned to Nutbush to live in the Flag Grove community, where Bullock attended Flag Grove Elementary School from 1st through 8th grade. As a young girl, Bullock sang in the church choir at Nutbush's Spring Hill Baptist Church. When she was 11, her mother Zelma ran off without warning, seeking freedom from her abusive relationship with Floyd by relocating to St. Louis in 1950. 2 years after her mother left the family, her father married another woman and moved to Detroit in 1952. Bullock and her sisters were sent to live with their maternal grandmother, Georgiana Curry in Brownsville, Tennessee. She stated in her autobiography Tina that her parents had not loved her and she wasn't wanted. Zelma had planned to leave Floyd but stayed once she became pregnant. She was a very young woman who didn't want another kid, Turner recalled. As a teenager, Bullock worked as a domestic worker for the Henderson family. She was at the Henderson house when she was notified that her half-sister Evelyn had died in a car crash alongside her cousins Margaret and Vella Evans. A self-professed tomboy, Bullock joined both the cheerleading squad and the female basketball team at Carver High School in Brownsville, and socialized every chance she got. When Bullock was 16, her grandmother died, so she went to live with her mother in St. Louis. She graduated from Sumner High School in 1958. After her graduation, Bullock worked as a nurse's aide at Barnes Jewish Hospital. Don't forget to subscribe Nano Nano.
She had a very interesting child life, now didn't she? Now this part of her life is where she became a very strong person, where she learned to love herself, to be a role model to herself. This is the Ike and Tina Turner story. Enjoy. Nano Nano.
Spoonie here. Remember, it's all about personal growth and development. Quote by Ms. Turner. I would have been lost in my life at that point without him. I mean, I could do two things, work in a hospital or sing in Ike's band. I didn't know anything else. Or anyone else. And I wanted to sing. Tina Turner, 1986, Bullock and her sister began to frequent nightclubs in St. Louis and East St. Louis. She first saw Ike Turner perform with his band The Kings of Rhythm at the Manhattan Club in East St. Louis. Bullock was impressed by his talent, recalling that she almost went into a trance watching him play. She asked Turner to let her sing in his band despite the fact that few women had ever sung with him. Turner said he'd call her but never did. One night in 1957, she got hold of the microphone from Kings of Rhythm drummer Eugene Washington during an intermission and she sang the B.B. King blues ballad, You Know I Love You. Upon hearing her sing, Turner asked her if she knew more songs. She sang the rest of the night and became a featured vocalist with his band. During this period, he taught her the finer points of vocal control and performance. Bullock's first recording was in 1958 under the name Little Ann on the single Box Top. She is credited as a vocalist on the record alongside Ike and fellow Kings of Rhythm singer Carlson Oliver. In 1960, Turner wrote A Fool in Love for singer Art Lassiter. Bullock was to sing background with Lassiter's backing vocalists, the Artettes. Lassiter failed to show up for the recording session at Technisonic Studios. Since Turner already paid for the studio time, Bullock suggested to sing lead. He decided to use her to record a demo with the intention of erasing her vocals and adding Lassiter's at a later date. Local St. Louis disc jockey Dave Dixon convinced Turner to send the tape to Juggy Murray, president of R&B label Sue Records. Upon hearing the song, Murray was impressed with Bullock's vocals, later stating that Tina sounded like screaming dirt. It was a funky sound. Murray bought the track and paid Turner a $25,000 advance for the recording and publishing rights. Murray also convinced Turner to make Bullock the star of the show. Turner responded by renaming her Tina because it rhymed with Sheena. However, family and friends still called her Ann. He was inspired by Sheena, Queen of the Jungle and Nyoka the Jungle Girl to create her stage persona. Turner added his last name and trademarked the name as a form of protection, so that if Bullock left him like his previous singers had, he could replace her with another Tina Turner. Early success, 1960 to 1965. Edit Bullock was introduced to the public as Tina Turner with the single A Fool in Love in July 1960. It reached number 2 on the Hot R&B Sides chart and number 27 on the Billboard Hot 100. Journalist Kurt Loder described the track as the blackest record to ever creep into the white pop charts since Ray Charles's gospel-styled What Did I Say that previous summer. Another single from the duo, It's Gonna Work Out Fine, reached number 14 on the Hot 100 and number 2 on the R&B chart in 1961, earning them a Grammy nomination for Best Rock and Roll Performance. Singles released between 1960 and 1962 included the R&B hits I Idolize You, Poor Fool, and Trey La 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 La. Citation needed. After the release of A Fool in Love, I created the Ike and Tina Turner Revue, which included the Kings of Rhythm and a girl group, the Ikeettes, as backing vocalists and dancers. He remained in the background as the bandleader. Ike put the entire revue through a rigorous touring schedule across the United States, performing 90 days straight in venues around the country. During the days of the Chitlin circuit, the Ike and Tina Turner Revue built a reputation as one of the most hottest, most durable, and potentially most explosive of all R&B ensembles, rivaling the James Brown Revue in terms of musical spectacle. Due to their profitable performances, they were able to perform in front of desegregated audiences in southern clubs and hotels. Between 1963 and 1965, the band toured constantly and produced moderately successful R&B singles. Turner's first credited single as a solo artist, Too Many Ties That Bind, We Need an Understanding, was released from Ike's label Sonia Records in 1964. Another single by the duo, You Can't Miss Nothing That You Never Had, reached number 29 on the Billboard R&B chart. After their tenure at Sue Records, the duo signed with more than 10 labels during the remainder of the decade, including Kent, Senko, Tangerine, Pompeii, A&M, and Minute. In 1964, they signed with Loma Records, a subsidiary of Warner Brothers Records which was run by Bob Crossnow. Crossnow became their manager shortly after they left Sue Records. On the Warner Brothers label they achieved their first charting album with Live. The Ike and Tina Turner Show, peaking at number 8 on the Billboard Hot R&B LPs chart in February 1965. Their singles Tell Her I'm Not Home released on Loma and Goodbye, So Long released on Modern Records were top 40 R&B hits in 1965. Turner's profile was raised after several solo appearances on shows such as American Bandstand and Shindig, while the entire revue appeared on Hollywood A Go-Go. In 1965, music producer Phil Spector attended an Ike and Tina Turner show at a club on the Sunset Strip, and he invited them to appear in the concert film The Big TNT Show.
The reason I stopped Spoonie right here on the TV show is where Ike started getting full of himself, thinking he was the reason for all this. Then the jealousy came out when he started to realize she, Miss Bullock, or Tina Turner, was the true star. Here's Spoonie with the rest.
Welcome back. Impressed by the duo's performance on the Big TNT show, Phil Spector was eager to produce Turner. Working out a deal with Ike and Tina Turner's manager Bob Crosno, who was also head of Loma, Spector offered $20,000 for creative control over the sessions to produce Turner and have them released from their contract with Loma. They signed to Spector's Phyllis label in April 1966 after Turner had already recorded with him. Their first single on his label, River Deep, Mountain High, was released in May 1966. Spector considered that record, with Turner's maximum energy over the wall of sound, to be his best work. It was successful overseas, reaching number 3 on the UK singles chart and number 1 on Los 40 Principales in Spain, but it failed to go any higher than number 88 on the Billboard Hot 100. The impact of the record gave Ike and Tina Turner an opening spot on the Rolling Stones UK tour in the fall of 1966. In November 1967, Turner became the first female artist and the first black artist to appear on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. The duo signed with Blue Thumb Records in 1968, releasing the album Out of Season in 1969. The album produced their charted cover of Otis Redding's I've Been Loving You Too Long. Later that year they released The Hunter. The title track, Albert King's The Hunter, earned Turner a Grammy nomination for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance. The success of the albums led to the Revue headlining in Las Vegas, where their shows were attended by a variety of celebrities including David Bowie, Sly Stone, Janis Joplin, Cher, James Brown, Ray Charles, Elton John, and Elvis Presley. Turner performing on stage at Tulane Stadium in October 1970 and the fall of 1969, Ike and Tina Turner's profile in their home country was raised after opening for the Rolling Stones on their U.S. tour. They gained more exposure from performances on The Ed Sullivan Show, Playboy After Dark, and The Andy Williams Show. The duo released 2 albums in 1970, Come Together and Workin' Together. Their cover of I Wanna Take You Higher peaked at number 34 on the Hot 100, whereas the original by Sly and the Family Stone peaked 4 numbers below that position. The Come Together and Workin' Together albums marked a turning point in their careers, in which they switched from their usual R&B repertoire to incorporate more rock tunes such as Come Together, Honky Tonk Woman, and Get Back. In early 1971, their cover of Creedence Clearwater Revival's Proud Mary became their biggest hit. The single reached number 4 on the Hot 100 and sold more than 1 million copies, winning them a Grammy for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group. In July 1971, their live album, What You Hear Is What You Get, was released. It was recorded at Carnegie Hall and became their first certified gold album. Later that year they had a top 40 R&B hit with Oopoo Pa Doo. Their next 3 singles to chart, I'm Yours, Use Me Any Way You Wanna, Up in Here and Early One Morning, all peaked at number 47 on the R&B chart. In 1972, they opened Bolich Sound Recording Studio near their home in Inglewood. 86, after Liberty was absorbed into United Artists Records, they were assigned to that label. Around this time, Turner began writing more songs. She wrote 9 out of the 10 tracks on their 1972 album Feel Good. 88, their 1973 hit single Nutbush City Limits, number 22 pop, number 11 R&B, penned by Turner, reached number 1 in Austria, number 4 in the UK and the top 5 in several other countries. It was certified silver by the BPI for selling 250,000 in the UK. As a result of their success, they received the Golden European Record Award, the first ever given, for selling more than 1 million records of Nutbush City Limits in Europe. Follow-up hits include Sweet Rhode Island Red and Sexy Ida in 1974. In 1974, the duo released the Grammy-nominated album The Gospel According to Ike and Tina, which was nominated for Best Soul Gospel Performance. Ike also received a solo nomination for his single Father Alone from the album. Turner's first solo album, Tina Turns the Country On, earned her a nomination for Best R&B Vocal Performance, Female. That year, Turner filmed the rock opera Tommy in London. She played the Acid Queen, a drug-addicted prostitute. Her performance was critically acclaimed. Shortly after filming Wrapped, Turner appeared on Anne Margaret's TV special. Following the release of Tommy in 1975, another solo album by Turner was released titled Acid Queen. The album reached number 39 on the Billboard R&B chart. It produced charting singles Baby, Get It On and a cover of Led Zeppelin's Whole Lotta Love.
Okay, time to wrap things up. Now I could go into details about the Ike and Turner that we've all seen in the movie, but I think this message is meant to be more uplifting of what type of role model she's been her whole life, still to this day. So please like and subscribe. She went on during the 80s to become one of the biggest rock and roll stars of all time. In the 90s, she took a little time off for herself. So let's all wish Tina Turner a happy, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Miss Tina, from Knobley Studios, and many, many more. Manja, manja.